Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Executive Insights Podcast, where we're spotlighting leaders who are transforming the business advisory and consulting space. I'm your host, Dallion Broomfield. Today, I'm joined with Kyle Stinson, who is the head of growth at Humans, a company redefining how small businesses access financial clarity and support throughout technology, community, and a human first approach. Kyle, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great, man. Kyle, can you share a little bit about your journey and what led you to humans?
Yeah. I think I've had a very fortunate history and background in terms of my career. Every company I've been a part of building and growing something new. I started even when I was fresh out of university. I joined this company, and within the first month, they were acquired by a larger company.
Yeah.
And then they were building out this whole inbound muscle. And then I got poached to go to another company where I built out a whole outbound muscle. And then from there, I ended up having a fantastic opportunity where I got to actually scale an entire revenue org right across Canada. So I was building out everything from the BDR org to the account executive as well as the partner growth channels. And then throughout that entire journey, right, like I started to realize that the traditional sales motion is a dying breed. That mentality of saying, you know what, I'm going to hit the phones, I'm going to cold call till I'm blue in the face. There's so many restrictions in terms of even inboxes these days, trying to even cut through the noise. So I started to look at it from a different lens of like, how can we build a, more product led, more maybe sales assisted motion that has this combination of working cross functionally with internal teams to build out some of those user behaviors and some of the analytics behind what are your users doing when they're coming onto your site, when maybe they're testing or trialing out your software to the point of actually converting them into a customer. And if they're experiencing any friction points, how do we resolve that from a product standpoint, or how do we resolve that with an actual human being as an intercept? So I had a great opportunity when I was with another company before I joined here at Humans to actually build that out, the true vision of what's been up here all these years. And so, yeah, very fortunate in terms of the career I've had to date.
Yeah. So, what drew you to the mission of, putting humans first? I seen that a lot across the website and everything. What drew you to that mission?
Yeah, so I was raised in a small business household. My daddy's an entrepreneur, and my mom, my nan, they've been doing bookkeeping for many, many years. So I think I've always had a soft spot for it. I've seen firsthand some of the challenges and the struggles that small business owners have to go through. Saw it in our own house. Me and my brother, we used to celebrate the fact that we were eating craft dinner, like mac and cheese every night, but it was really because we're pretty tight on budget. And it's because all the money was going back into the business at that time. So looking back at it now, we can laugh, but those are hard times for my parents. And I look at every small business that's trying to get started out there today, and they're all going through the same challenges. You look at someone who's even trying to start like a retail shop. Like it's a passion for clothing, it's a passion for creating that retail shop, but at the end of the day, they end up being an HR, they end up being their own financial advisor, they end up being like the CEO of their little company. Like there's so many elements that go into starting a business. No wonder why so many small businesses fail. Like they're not equipped to do all those roles as one person. You get stretched so thin. So here at Humans, what we're really trying to do is just empower those small business users to, have a little bit more financial clarity into how they're operating as a business. And that's through streamlining a lot through our AI insights, plugged right into your accounting system. So you can actually get those without all the jargon and all the nonsense that comes with accounting systems. If you've ever opened up QuickBooks online, you probably want to shut your laptop as quickly as you open it. So we try to simplify a lot of that, and then also connecting and integrating in with all the systems you use on an everyday basis. So the founder of this company, we had an initial meeting, and he sold me on the vision, and then I sold him on the position because I ended up pretty much creating a position for myself here at the company. So
Yeah, awesome, man. I do. I know what you're saying about that. Being an entrepreneur, there's a lot of times where you feel like you're stretched thin. Like, how am I going to get past this? Like, what am I going to do? But I always tell everybody like you're not gonna like you're only gonna lose if you quit. If you quit, like you lose. But if you just keep taking the fist to the face, like you're gonna make it out of there eventually. Okay, so tell us about humans. What do you do and who do you serve?
Yeah, so we're really focused on giving that um the best way to really describe what we do here at Humans is imagine you're starting your business and you open that first door and you realize, oh my God, what have I got myself into, right? There's so much I don't know. There's so many things I need to figure out. We're trying to have you have that one point of service where you come in, you get access to everything that you need and simplifying the most complicated aspects of running your business all within an AI solution. You know, we've got this AI CFO that is really there to support you. His name's Roy. Downward to the whole return on investment, but and it's really embodied in what we do here at Humans is trying to keep it as human focused and human centered at its core. While we might be an AI company, we might be integrating in with all the other apps and systems you might use at the end of the day. The focus here is on the people and the people who are here to help small businesses because that's where our passion is and that's where it lies. Who we service is really on the SM, like small business community. So anyone from an HVAC community to a small services company that might be doing marketing services, even consulting services. Typically businesses that are around that like 50 employees or less mark, who don't typically have the in-house infrastructure across like a proper HR org or a proper finance org to be able to support them with some of the things that we try to fill in those gaps for them.
Right, right. How are you seeing, the small businesses, their needs changing for financial and support over these, like last year or two?
Yeah, it's getting challenging, right? Like you guys are based in the US, right?
Yeah, we're in Oklahoma.
Yeah, so if you're based in Oklahoma, right, like you guys are maybe seeing some of the effects of the administration, all that's coming as well. Like, sure, there's going to be benefits maybe long term, but in the short term as well, there's a lot of businesses that are feeling some consequences of a lot of these trade wars that are taking place. I know even in Canada, across a lot of our different industries, right, they're certainly feeling the effect of it. So I think it's going into 2026, finding a little bit more like relief where you can, knowing that there is so much ambiguity across what may happen in 2026, 2027, 2028, and beyond. Like, sure, as a new business starting out, there's always ambiguity,
Yeah.
right? But now there's almost like this sense of fear and anxiety that hangs in the air across new businesses and small businesses that are starting up these days. That's what we're seeing, at least.
Yeah. Fear of the unknown. Right. So if we were looking ahead a few years, what do you think would look completely the same and what do you think would be just completely different?
Yeah. You know, we were talking about this actually at our company recently is that the one thing that will never change is government is not there to support small business. They haven't, they never will. They might say they do, and small business makes up the, North American economy. It's the backbone of our economy. That's great, but they're not actually doing anything to help the little guy. So what's going to change is this momentum shift of giving that like AI and all the technology in the past that they didn't have access to because it was only for those large corporations or large enterprise companies. Now AI and all these different tools are there for small businesses. So I think what we're going to see is this momentum shift of doing more with less, right? And the ability to really find and navigate through that ambiguity with a little bit more clarity. And I really do see small businesses starting to come out on top in the years to come, just because of that like technology that's really come into play in the past couple of years.
Yeah, using the tools that are out there for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Great. Well, let's talk about Roy a little bit. So, Roy is a virtual CFO. How does the AI platform help small businesses gain that clarity and control over their finances?
Yeah, I think a huge component to what we're offering is budgeting and cash flow, right? So where we see budgeting is like a GPS at the end of the day. You're just trying to get from point A to point B of your fiscal year. It's hard to forecast. It's hard to know what's going to happen, but at least set those goals and those targets for where you'd like to be. And then taking a look at your cash flow and the inflows and outflows of cash that are taking place on a month over month basis, and comparing that with your stress mark, which is your budget for the year. And like a GPS, sometimes you might take an early, off route, off the beaten path. It's how do you find your way back, though? How do you get back on track to your budget at the end of the day? Now, where Roy comes into play is that we reduce all of that jargon that comes with accounting, all the things that scare a small business owner at the end of the day, and give them a little bit more clarity by just giving them the facts, but speaking in plain English, plain language that everyone can understand, so that they can sleep better at night. They're not thinking up at night thinking, oh my God, I need to hire someone new, but can I even afford to? Just being able to ask that question of Roy and he be able to explain it to you, I think that at the end of the day is really what's helping the small business community.
Yeah, so it's not like kicking out answers of like law code this, tax code that, so that's good. It's got to read at a seventh grade level there so everybody can understand.
You
So
got
what
it.
do you think sets humans apart from other financial tech solutions out there right now?
Yeah, I think what sets us apart is that we're building ourselves as an aggregator, right? So we're not trying to say that we're going to do it all. Like you've got, when you start out a business, you got to do your like incorporation. You then got to get like payroll if you've added employees in. You then like there's a whole list and a laundry list of different softwares. Where we're coming into play is a very modular based platform where you come in, you plug in with all your systems, and Roy does the rest in terms of looking at your business in a holistic view so that you can ask all the questions that are keeping you up at night, but he has that full 360 look into all the different systems that are tied right into Roy.
Yeah. Okay. That's brilliant. So, where do you see humans in the SMB finance industry evolving over the next few years? Is Roy it, or is there other agents that you guys are getting ready to deploy?
Yeah, I think there will be many iterations to Roy. Roy 2.0, Roy 3.0, just as many iPhones as you have today. There will probably be another Roy version to it because the goal is to continue to iterate, but also grow as quickly as AI is growing itself. Like, who knows in the next 5 years where we're going with AI? You might actually have Roy virtually doing your books and being that actual, CFO that you need at the end of the day to have oversight, maybe do reconciliations. Now, this could be a complete pipe dream, but we didn't think this technology even existed, 3, 4 years ago. COVID hit, and everyone's talking about, open AI. What is this? Now everyone uses it. It's the new search engine.
Hmm.
And if you go too deep into the internet, you start to realize just how real this reality is starting to become, where AI will, evolve with the different agentic abilities that are coming into play.
Yeah. That's good. That's brilliant. I totally agree. I remember the first little buzz about like Chat GPT, and as a marketing agency, of course we love chat. Like we were all over it, right? And just now the tools that are out there, it's mind blowing just in this short amount of time. So what does growth look like for humans right now? And what are your top priorities for this year?
Yeah, so growth for us, like I mentioned earlier, we're trying to build a PLG model, like a product-led growth model. Not be so extensive on our sales motion, but only having that salesperson reach out when there's a friction point that they're experiencing within the sales cycle. Maybe they joined, got started because we're a freemium model, and then they, maybe got stuck, and we have some of that user behaviors that we're tracking behind the scenes, and maybe they by day 5 or day 10 they haven't hit some of our crucial milestones to make sure that there's that adoption level with some of our users that are joining the platform. That's when a salesperson should engage. That's when they should reach out and see if maybe there's something that they can do to help them, whether it's providing clarity across Roy, what he's doing and what he offers, to other modular platforms that we have integrated into the platform, like payroll, credit and lending. We've got a credit and lending platform that's going live as well. So that's really a focus for us, is optimizing that muscle and making sure that there's um, like multi cross sell, upsell opportunities available for clients, but that they come to that point themselves. Like they come to realize they need these things themselves without a salesperson reaching out and telling them this is what you need. It's discovering it within the platform itself and realizing the potential for these different modules that would really help them be more successful as a business at the end of the day.
Yeah, let's stay on this topic for a little bit. I think it'd be valuable for listeners that are getting to know Roy. What are some of like the top three kind of pains users are experiencing before they're ready to like, oh, I need more. I also need this and this
Mhm.
added on.
Yeah, so for a lot of users that come into the platform, they see the benefit of having that AI tool that's plugged into your accounting system. Because, like I said, you open up your QuickBooks Online or your Zero platform, and as soon as you open it, you pretty much want to close it. What am I looking at here? We're trying to give you the quickest insights as possible and get you to that time to value. Part of that as well is also realizing that my business doesn't run just through QuickBooks Online, right? Like there's other components of having like payroll. I got to pay my employees, got to make sure they're paid on time. Finding a cost-effective solution that's going to make sense for your business as well. That way you're paying your employees, you're not paying the payroll provider that you're using, right? And then there's other components like even benefits. Like that's one of those things people don't realize is that when you're doing your payroll, you've got to do your benefits deductions if you have payroll or benefits for your employees. And so doing that reconciliation, if you're doing it on a monthly basis or right before for year-end tax, it's a very cumbersome thing that your bookkeeper or yourself, if you're managing your own finances, have to do. So by bringing it all together and having all of those different modules within one platform, really ultimately the goal is like got everything I need to run and operate my business. And I feel confident in the decisions I'm making as a business owner because I'm getting clarity. I'm using the most cost effective solution. And I also have access when I need it to maybe even things like credit and lending on those bad or off months, or even for operational scaling or growth as well.
Yeah, that's good. That's brilliant. Good answer. So how are you approaching go-to-market strategy, user acquisition, and partner growth right now?
Yeah, so we're actually going about it in a network effects approach. So the goal is to reduce our cost of acquisition as much as we can. And how we're doing that is through our partner network. So we've got three tiers of partner network. We've got one, which is going to be our primary channel that we work with is bookkeepers and accountants. They, at the end of the day, like a small business doesn't exist without their bookkeeper and accountant, right? Like you need that clarity, you need that understanding. You even need to just have your taxes handled, remittances for payroll, whatever it may be. Those bookkeepers and accountants act as those advisors for their entire community. And maybe you have a fractional CFO that you are actually using as well. So they would be part of our one category for partner network. Another is going to be with the associations that oversee those partner networks. So, for example, in Canada here, we've got CPA Canada, you got the Canadian Professional Bookkeepers. And so they're kind of like that oversight of how things are governed and managed across their entire community and how they support small business. And then the other tier that we have for Partner Network is all around API integrations. And that's really where we have a huge growth opportunity. So whether it's different payroll providers and providing those options for customers to credit and lending, as I mentioned, benefits, but it goes on beyond that as well. Like think about retail, think about restaurants. They have time and scheduling softwares that they rely on for trade swapping and all that. How do we pull that all together so it's a seamless all-in-one solution that doesn't feel adjacent or it doesn't feel like you're using these different technologies that doesn't kind of fit together and work well together? So that API like channel partner that we have with some of our integration partners is something that I primarily would like to see grow in this year as well.
How do you think what do you think the biggest bottleneck would be to make that grow in that area?
Yeah, so it's really around the different partners that we choose to work with, right? Like there's limited functionality across some of the white label solutions that we may work with, or even with some of those solutions that just have an embedded an API integration that we can tie into, because there's dev resources that have to work on it on both ends. And they might be really focused on their internal dev roadmap that they're prioritizing, and it may be less of a priority to work with us unless we can feed enough leads over to them that they can realize the value of that integration to then work with us a lot more closely to build out that more tighter knit API that we need to make it that seamless experience for the customer.
Yeah. Okay. So you've recently announced a partnership with ZenBooks. Are they in one of the tiers?
Yeah, they would be on our bookkeeper accountant partner network, and Eric Samir is fantastic. He's the owner of ZenBooks, very well connected in the community, great partners.
Yeah. So what does that collaboration mean for your clients, and how does it fit into your broader vision?
Yeah, so we approached ZenBooks because they're providing a lot of payroll across a lot of the small business community. Beyond that, they provide a lot of other services as well. But we approached them and said, "Hey, what if we built payroll different? Instead of us building a payroll system and saying, 'Hey, this is how you should use it,' we came to you and said, 'How would you like to use it?' How can we work with you to build a better payroll system at the end of the day, and how you service your clients?" So they're very open-minded to that opportunity. So we're working very closely together with them as well as other partners within our Humans Collective partner channel, to pretty much sit down with them, do some product discovery, say, what's working for you today? What's not? If we were to introduce something like this, would you see benefit in that? And how would you want that to work within your day-to-day workflow with your clients?
Yeah. Is that a pretty common thing when you bring on a new partner? You you will, customize Roy a little bit better to fit their needs.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to do as you scale, right? Because you're bringing in all of these new partners who all have these different expectations for what they want software to do. So really it's around itemizing and prioritizing all the different or asks that are coming in, and then making sure that our dev, we can make them busy with all those asks that are coming in, but also prioritizing our own product roadmap. So it's a very difficult thing to juggle. But at the stage that we're at right now, there's a lot of personal communication that happens with our partners. As we scale, we don't want to lose that connection with those partners. We're just going to have to find a bigger, better way of doing it at scale. And that's some of the fun stuff. And being a part of a startup is that you get to navigate and learn and problem solve these things as you grow.
Yeah. So you guys don't directly work with any SMBs right now. It's mainly these partnerships that are in a tier.
No, so we do work directly with SMBs, and it's more our go-to-market approach was, if we work with the partners who support SMBs, they'll refer their SMBs into the platform because
Perfect.
they're already a partner of ours. So, yeah, that's maybe the missing piece there, is
Yeah.
that was just part of our go-to-market approach. They refer in and bring all their clients, but we do also have direct sign-ups for SMBs as they come in and discover humans, like you guys did yourself.
Yeah. So what do you think the toughest part on scaling that end? I mean, maybe there possibly the network or referrals always dies eventually, right? Like you can't grow a business on just referrals. So what do you think the toughest part, or what do you think their bottlenecks are going to come up in the future that you'll have to overcome?
Yeah, I think it's a competitive landscape, right? Like what we're trying to do, we know that there's others that are going to pop up trying to do the same thing. They're probably already in existence, right? So it's making sure that you stay true to our name, humans, right? So if we can continue to provide a very human approach to the way that we're doing business, ultimately, I'd like to think that people would want to do business with us than someone who's going complete AI direction and not trying to make it a very human centric approach. So, for squeezing as much as you can out of each partner that joins us for their book of business. You got to earn that, right? And we need to work hard to make sure that we keep our partners happy, but also make sure it's the SMBs that are using it, that they feel like it's a great product and that they couldn't live without it.
Right. Great. So if you had a magic wand to fix one thing for small businesses when it comes to financial management, what would that be, Kyle?
It's a good one. It's a good one. I think there's a lot of problems that, SMBs take on, right? I think the biggest one would be probably just navigating how to even get started through to like having that advice for how do you scale and grow next, to how do you exit. Like there's no recipe for this, for success. And obviously there's nuance across every single industry and there's nuance across every single region. But like being able to actually have sound advice and someone that you trust or something that you trust, if it is AI related, but like that helps you through every stage to give you that confidence, because it's just white space when you get started. You got to navigate that white space and figure out what's next. So putting that one foot in front of the other, but making sure that you're trusting each step, I think would be really crucial for SMBs and their success.
Right. I always like to say, like early adoption, like adopting the tools early and learning how to use them to the best of your ability. And that's what I see a lot of small business owners kind of withdraw from it because it's uncomfortable. They don't know. And so it's having that somebody that they trust that can teach them, help them adopt it, and put the right tools in front of them. And it makes a world of difference for sure.
Yeah, I would completely agree.
Yeah. Okay. So for leaders like you listening, what advice would you give them about combining technology and a human first approach to support small businesses and their success?
Yeah, I think really ultimately what it comes down to is just building something that your customers want to use, right? So whether you've got different channels like we do with supporting bookkeepers and accountants and then actual small businesses, understand their pain points at the end of the day. Don't build something because you think you know, build it because you ask them. Build it because they care about, this challenger. They care about their clients and how do we better service them so they can better service their clients. And then on top of that, like once you've got that qualitative feedback, quantify it, quantify the problem, and then start to really understand that user behavior within your platforms. And I think you'll start to unlock a lot of those magic moments that your clients will start to realize. And that's where the adoption comes into play. And then that's where the growth opportunities present itself. But you got to earn their trust first. And you earn their trust by building something that they actually want to use.
Yeah, absolutely. Great, Kyle. It was good. It's brilliant, brilliant answers. So for listeners out there that want to learn more about humans and Roy, where can they connect with you or to get a demo?
Yeah, so just come to our website, humans.com. It's a free, like a freemium model, so you can get started for free. Get right into the platform. If you plug in your accounting system, Roy will start to learn about your business. If you'd like an actual personalized demonstration, you can even reach out directly to me. I'll make sure that you can get, I'll run the demo myself, or I'll get you in contact with someone on our team. And that's Kyle@humans.com.
Good. So, Kyle, thanks so much for sharing your insights and the human story. For more conversations with leaders in business advisory, consulting, and tech, be sure to subscribe to the Executive Insights podcast. Kyle, thank you again.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks so much for having me.